I didn't get to do my preps today.
Your vocal preps or what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Gotta get
You're
the
not
wiggles
singing
out, John.
here, man.
Yeah, you gotta get the wiggles out, man.
Oh my god. I wake up like this.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the TopCup podcast, a weekly conversational podcast where two buds, me and him, talk out their butts to fill your cups with some news about the gaming industry this time. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I am today's host, Daniel Arroyo. Alongside me, as usual, my good buddy, John Oivides. John, say hi.
Daniel, hello. We're looking in the right direction.
If you're joining us for the first time, thank you for stopping by first and foremost. But obviously, you're here on YouTube, so you can find us on YouTube. Why not tell your friends? Because, I dare you, punk.
Oh shit.
If you rather listen to our voices instead of see our stupid ass faces and our semi-poor video quality, you can also find us on Spotify, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Almost.
I did so well.
You did.
I'm not going to
time.
acknowledge it. Or you can find us, or you can find us on our Facebook group, which is, doesn't get a lot of love as much as everything else, but we're still there. And if you're returning, then leave a like. Talk to us, please. John, you know what sucks about being a weekly podcast and only recording one time out of the week?
That a bunch of shit happens after you record?
Exactly. So much shit happens between episodes, and even then, if a monkey wrench gets thrown in our plans, it gets released late. There's not much we can do about it, but hey, we're not trying to be IGN. So let's start off
three days ahead of the news.
TopCup first. So one of the bigger things happening in the video game world at the moment is The Last of Us 2. People fucking are losing their minds. It is the fastest selling Sony exclusive game out of this entire generation. It dominated 4 million, right? 4 million copies sold as of
the weekend,
right now.
Right? No.
Yeah, I think
it was it was either the weekend or like the first week. But still,
it was probably the weekend. I know it outsold Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. And
which
God
is
of War.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and God of War. So it is the number one Sony exclusive this entire generation,
yes.
Which is kind of weird because the new generation should be foreseeably coming out towards the end of the year. If not early 2021. Who knows? Coronavirus got this shit all fucked up. Anyway, people swear by The Last of Us, the first game. I am currently making I know what happens for the most part, but I've never actually played the game. I've only sat by and watched Joel play the game. Hi, Joel. We'll put him in. I've only seen Joel play the game a handful of times. He just confessed to me recently that out of the very many times he's started the game, he's only finished it once. So
really?
Yeah. A little fun fact for you there. But it is a wonderful game. It did do a lot for narrative-driven stories. And when did it come out? It's 2013?
Yeah,
like something like that.
2012, 2013, somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
It's old. It's an old game, surprisingly.
It is.
No, 2013, because everyone's like, we waited 7 years for this game.
Yeah. Yes. Jesus Christ. Has it been 7 years?
Yeah.
Holy God.
Hey, man.
Oh, that's blowing my mind.
I'm a Kingdom Hearts fucking fan, so 7 years.
You're used to it.
Whatever.
Hey man, I waited like 30 for a new Tron game. So fuck you guys.
Yeah, well, I'm a Pokemon Snap. It took us, I don't even, 20 years? I don't even know. I don't think
To
I
get
could
back
beat.
on track, The Last of Us Last of Us 2 came out late June, I believe, right?
Yes.
Mid-June, mid to late June, 19th or something.
Yeah.
And it has taken the world by storm. Even before that, there were a lot of spoilers for the game. We'll touch on that later, I'm sure. Just forewarning, this is gonna be a long and heavy episode. To the point where we may stretch it into 2, but we'll see how it goes. But for The Last of Us 2, when the spoilers came out, it kind of, it brought the shitty gamers out of the woodwork. Of course, anything that happens is gonna bring the shitty gamers out of the fucking cornfields, Which sucks, man. Everybody there. I don't know of a single community that doesn't have the shitty insert community. Like we have the shitty gamer community.
Yeah.
For a good part of it, when The Last of Us 2 trailer came out at an E3 in the beautiful fucking barn setting with, I think Troy Baker was actually playing the guitar and shit. I can't remember. I think God, I remember him, but it might just be the countless IGN or IGTVs that he does playing music. But not IGN, Instagram, sorry. But yeah, ever since that clip of Ellie in the barn and dancing with seemingly her friend, then we come to find out they kiss.
That's you.
That. What do you mean that's me?
Because everyone knew, Daniel. Because everyone played the DLC or read the comic, so we knew. We knew who she was. You were the only one that was like, I don't know who she is.
Whatever, John. Either way, Ellie with a girlfriend, and they show her kissing, and that brought the shitty gamers out of the woodwork, of fucking course, because people just fucking hate to see people being happy, especially in dark times. I don't know. I don't know.
Were they really that dark? They were dancing and having a party, Daniel. All right?
Dimly lit times.
A loud party in a world where the zombies are attracted by sound. Just keep that in mind. Pretty sure
there's a wall involved. I don't know. I'm not that far into the first one. But aside from that, yeah, shitty gamers are always just waiting in the shadows and looking for a fucking reason to come out. Well, it looks like they found another fucking reason that I will not disclose because I actually don't know the reasons in full, because I have been staying away from Last of Us 2 spoilers, because for some reason I want to play the game now. As much as I dodged playing the original one the first time, I don't know. I honestly didn't really dodge it. I just didn't have the time. It was always poor timing when Joel would try to make me play it. But this game looks beautiful. It is stunning. And I remember back when the original Last of Us came out on PS3, it was still fucking awesome.
For what it was like at the time, yeah. Because you're playing the PS4 Definitive Edition or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even the PS4 one, it's not even a far cry of what it was from PS3, but it still looks very good at certain points. Those people did fucking, they put work into that.
That's the upside to using like hand-drawn animations is they hold up, like over time they hold up way better than CGI animations.
Yeah,
well, I mean they're all CGI, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Which is really, really awesome, because these games deserve to stand the test of time. And I don't see them being on the wrong side of history for a while. So they're going to be around for quite some time. And who knows, maybe in another 7 years we'll get a Last of Us 3 on the PS9. Where we get it's gonna be around for fucking 15 years. But just to get back to the point of all this, why do people gotta suck, John? Why do people gotta suck, and why do they gotta assume that just because we changed the Snyder Cut and Sonic the Hedgehog, things that were admittedly bad, no going around it, bad, like no,
Like no one liked the way they looked.
no,
Those were objectively bad.
those are yes, but with The Last of Us 2, the things that people non-spoiler or things that you should at least already know by now, given like the trailers and stuff that have been out.
Mm-hmm.
The things that these people are complaining about, to the point where they are making the story of The Last of Us 2, blows my fucking mind. Blows my mind. And I think because I was researching the petition earlier, and it was the goal for this particular petition that I looked at was 50,000 signatures. It already had 47,000 and counting. What?
Keep in mind, though. Keep in mind, and we did the math. 50,000 is fucking nothing to 4 million.
To the 4 million copies that we know have sold over the first weekend.
Yeah, and like, I don't know how many more since then.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did the math. It's 1.25 or 1.25%. That's like.
If that's not a fuck you, then I don't know what else to say, guys.
As the developer, and just be like, oh, 1 point of our audience isn't happy and they want it to change and they signed this petition. I would just be like, cool. 1?
Yeah.
All right, talk to me when it's like at 25. All right, when we have literally 1 million people, then I'll give it some time of day. But for now, I don't care.
Yeah, it's really not worth looking at. But the danger with these things, and I'm not trying to give them any more fucking fuel for the fire, but the danger with these things is that there could be multiple petitions for this. There could definitely be another 50,000 that have already been signed, and they could try to put the numbers behind them. And we only seen this one petition that I brought to our attention. That was nearly 50,000 people, 1.25%, but there could be another 15 of these petitions happening that are another 1.25%, and they just keep stacking up to the point where they could be at least 15% of the audience, which is like, just return the fucking game. How many people want to play this but can't afford a $60 new game?
I saw
return the fucking game.
I saw a guy. It's like a clip. He didn't like it so much that I think like something happened. He said, "Fuck it." Went to the main menu, took out the game, held the game, turned right, grabbed scissors, and went pop, 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 and then just threw it away. And just like, that's the end of that game.
Wow. Get the fucking store credit, you fucking baby. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why these people do these things, but they're happening, and that's the world we live in. And I dub them the shitty gamer community because I am very ashamed of them. Yeah, sure, I've had my conflicts with some games, but one, I'm not gonna get a brand new disc and cut it in half because it angers me. I'm just gonna put it away for a month and forget about it.
Yeah. Like, definitely think there are a lot of people that are overreacting to like how bad they think this. Like, it's just like, dude, we've had worse games. Like, I've played a handful of games where, at the end of the day, I'm just like, wow, this game sucks. Like, it's bad in a lot of ways. But this one, they just didn't like one thing. But like graphically, it's beautiful. Voice acting is spot on. The animation is, it's top tier. And so it's just like when people are like, "Oh, this game's a horrible game," I'm like, "No, you just don't like it for like one or two reasons," and they're just like whatever reasons. Like you are just being so fucking pissy about something that doesn't fucking matter.
And you know what angers me? And I've heard it from several people that are very deep in the game industry or have had history in the game industry. They ask people why they don't like the game.
Mm.
They give them the reason, which is the usual bullshit reason of whatever the fuck. And then it comes to light that most of these fucking people have never even played the game. Some of these people were talking mad shit about this game before the game came out, before the embargo was lifted.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means they're either going off of what they heard from spoilers, which they chose to read, which one, what the fuck is your problem? If you actually care about this, why are you choosing to read it? Stay away from it.
I mean,
Like,
I read this.
At least in my opinion. John, you don't care about these fucking games because you don't have a PlayStation. All right?
I read the spoilers to Endgame.
Also, you just hate good things. I don't
you.
know. But a lot of these people haven't even played the games, and they're basing their decisions and how they feel about it just half-heartedly because they're listening to people that are talking mad shit about the game because of the spoilers. And to be honest, a lot of the times when spoilers come out, sometimes half that shit doesn't even make it into the project.
Depending on the time frame, yes.
Well, yeah, of course, depending on the time frame.
These spoilers
also,
were like a month or two, right? Before the game came out?
Was it that soon? I thought it was at least like 3.
Either way, we're well into the whole finalization of the game. Like at this point, it's really just, hey, the game's essentially done. We're just kind of waiting on like all the legality stuff and the printing and everything. So
fair enough.
At that point, it's just like, changes aren't probably going to get made anytime soon. At least to like the major stuff.
Okay, fair. But I don't know. It boggles the mind how people can be absolutely this upset because they've gone to the point where people are review bombing this fucking game. And I guarantee you at least 50% of these people that are review bombing this fucking game haven't even looked at the game. Haven't picked up a controller and tried to fucking play through the game. They probably haven't even played through the original game. What? Why are you doing this? Like, I mean, I know it's like trolls and all of this, but people put fucking work, passion, and into these fucking games. And sure, like, you can disagree with it. You can. But if there's really, like, structurally nothing wrong with this fucking piece of
art,
people's lives, yeah,
okay.
People's art can be interpreted however, but if there's structurally nothing wrong with this project, how does that make you happy? I don't know, but Metacritic scores are fucking putting this thing through the roof.
Mm-hmm. So
and
what
of
about
course,
like people that feel like they want to comment on it after knowing that after they find out something that they deem is important about the game, if they find out that has been changed in a very substantial way, do you think they have a right to feel angry or in a game? Maybe not review like an entirety of the game. Like I think that doesn't make sense, but just in the sense of like how they feel, I guess. Like, oh, like I'm not gonna get this game because I think it's a horrible game. Because from what I know of the last game, these points are very important. Now knowing that this happens in this game, I feel that it's a complete 180 and kind of like demeans what like the original game was about, what it was for, and for that reason, I think it's a shit game. I don't want to fucking play it. What about to that?
If they've gone through the game if they've seen what upsets them, and if they've given it a proper chance, in my, first of all, let me just state, for me personally, I don't feel like fans of anything are owed a fucking thing. Right? You're not owed anything.
Mhm.
You are a consumer. You are choosing to buy this. Yes, you are a fan. Yes, you give support, but you're not owed anything. People give it to you because they respect that you took the time to take their product and put it into your life and have it change you. And that's why you follow them. That is what art is about. You are not owed anything from the creator.
Right.
Not a single fucking thing except for a refund if you choose to. Like, and even then, go to GameStop. You'll get some credit. Not all the credit, but you'll get some credit. Give the fucking game to your nephew. I don't know. But I personally don't feel like anyone is owed anything from an artist or a content creator or anything like that because of the consumer society we live in. Like you are basically signing a contract by buying this game that you are buying into this story. If it upsets you, I'm sorry, that sucks. But hundreds of thousands of dollars and hundreds of man hours were put into this game. I don't know what you're going to do to change it.
Right.
Like it's going to take a massive, massive amount of bitching and one very, very good reason.
And
or
even then,
a multitude of very good reasons to have something that is the value of the game be changed.
And even then, like that's from like the creative aspect. If you want to go through it from like the monetary aspect, it's just like,
excuse me.
He's like, oh, the game's ruined. It's horrible. Well, clearly not, because we sold 4 million.
Yeah.
So
honestly, how are you going to fight that?
Yeah, like we've sold 4 million copies. We don't give a shit if you think it's horrible. Like, congrats.
Yeah, if you want, we can put out a DLC or something. But honestly, once it's pressed and boxed and sold, there's not much you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back to my original point, if they gave it the old college try and they played through it, they end the game, the roll credits, and they decide, you know what, that part of the game pissed me off. It ruined the experience for me. I don't know if I this with this franchise anymore because of A, B, and C, or even A. You know, that's fair. You are entitled to. Well, I don't want to use the word entitled. You are free to express your opinion because you've taken the time to manufacture one naturally.
Okay.
And there's only so much you can do past that, right? Because your opinion, as we all know, is not fact. Maybe aside from the president. I don't know if he knows that. But your opinion, as most of us know, is not fact. And there's not very much you can do about these things. And you're going to honestly find yourself in that 1.25% of people, probably, if not part of the rest of the gaming community that understands, shit, I didn't like this. That fucking sucks. I really like this. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because everything else was pretty awesome.
Keep in mind that 1.25 is the people that signed.
True.
There are a lot of people that don't like it that just didn't sign.
Yeah, there's also a silent minority of people. But yeah, man, I don't know. I've seen so many disgruntled, quote unquote, people bitching about the game sheerly because Ellie's gay.
That's interesting. And
that is one of the points that I made earlier of things you should have known because of previous things that have been released already. As John said before, it was in the DLC. But aside from that, yeah, I've seen people complain about it. No, personally. And that really sucks because they're part of the shitty gamer community that wants to strip everything apart. They are part of the those people that see a franchise that is normally populated by men, put a female character or a woman character in the main story, and they lose their shit. Fuck this. You know, women weren't allowed in the army in World War One. You know,
Battlefield 5 isn't accurately correct.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, you survive after getting shot like 5 times. That's not accurately correct either. Shut the fuck up.
It's these people that I don't understand. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, it's coming from someone who, as I play games, if I have the option to play as a woman, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna choose Cassandra over Alexios. Why? Because I can make her look like Wonder Woman, and I can feel powerful. Plus, she has a better storyline.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think it's like the poison armor or something. It's
There's an Amazon armor that you can wear. The Amazonian armor. And it's kind of close.
Yeah, maybe.
It's kind of close. No, I was thinking about it because I remember we were talking about that, and I was saying like, that's interesting that you have been hearing like that's why a lot of people don't like this game or don't want to be playing this game. Because to me, I haven't really heard a lot of complaints about the whole Ellie being gay as the reason why people are not liking it. I'm realizing now, though, maybe the difference is the people that from what I gather, at least, that I see that don't mind, I think they already knew that going in. They played the DLC because that's the key word, the DLC. Ellie wasn't made gay until the DLC or the books, or at least it wasn't. I don't want to say made gay. It wasn't revealed to be part of that. So maybe those people, the people that didn't play the DLC, that didn't know, maybe that's why they're like, oh, I have a justified reason for being betrayed for some fucking reason.
Yeah, and to interject for just a second, that's what I'm talking about. Like the people that don't, give it a try or whatever. Like if you have someone that doesn't own a PlayStation, doesn't plan on owning a PlayStation because for some reason they're fucking Xbox Sims. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna look at this and be like, oh, freaking PlayStation and the stupid people that play them are gonna be playing a gay game. That's all they see. That's all they see. And
did they not play or Life is Strange?
That frame of thinking is, I don't know. It's beyond me at this point.
Hey man, when I played as Cassandra, I'm gonna be real. I got it in whenever the fuck I could. I didn't give a shit who I fucked. Like Cassandra was a strong, independent woman. Like fuck whoever she wanted.
True. I love how all roads lead back to Assassin's Creed. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, but so maybe that was like a big part of why a lot of the people that I read or saw and the complaints I was seeing weren't really focused on the Ellie being gay. That being said, that's the other thing, right? There are some people that would play this game and never played the first one, and I'm just like, why? Why? Because it's the game to play. Play the fucking first one. It makes so much it's a huge narrative game. Narrative games you need to play before you do it. It's not fucking Call of Duty where you can just hop into anyone and go like, I don't know.
Even then, you're gonna jump into Modern Warfare 2, 3, whatever the fuck, and expect to understand. No, you start with Modern Warfare 1. You learn who Pierce and Soap are.
Okay.
You get attached. You move on. All right. There's chronological things, but I understand your point, John.
Okay, maybe
narratives are there for a reason.
Narratives are there for a reason. My point is, it's interesting because, a lot of the people I was seeing were less complaining about specifically Ellie. I want to say, not the fact that she was gay, because a lot of some people I was watching were saying that's fine because the way they wrote her character, it felt very natural. It felt very genuine. There was a lot of things that were happening that was, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like they seem like a good couple. It's like you can relate. You feel it. It feels real. But there were other aspects of the game where they had other characters that just seemed like they were also part of the LGBT community, but like their writing wasn't as great. And it felt more forced and in your face about it. Like, oh, these characters are this because we decided. And I was, from what I was reading, there was a lot of complaints. And this is also not just from like cisgendered people that are just mad at the world for trying to push an agenda. No, I was like, there were actually people that were part of the LGBT community that were upset because they were like, this is not how you show respect to our community. Ellie and her partner, that's fine. That is great. That's good writing, good chemistry, the characters work. We support this. This, not so much. It just feels forced. This, we don't want, like, you can tell, like, it's not as, I guess, like, I don't know if genuine is the right word, but it's not as,
well thought out.
yeah, essentially.
As Ellie's character.
Yeah. And like that's some of the complaints I was reading, which is that like there's like, look, you know, great. Great that you're trying to support. But like please do it in a sense where it feels like, you know, you're treating it with the respect that it deserves. No, but and like that's just like a thing in general. No one wants you to write a shitty fucking game about, I don't know, whatever the fuck. Like if you're going to write characters, do them justice for whatever community that they're supposed to represent. You know, like don't just make it as like, oh, let's just do it because, you know, we need to meet a quota. Like, hey, this game didn't have one Hispanic person. We need to have a Hispanic guy, because when that happens,
and that's when you get into tokenism, folks.
Yeah, it's like when.
Continue.
Yeah, and also like when that happens, you also kind of start getting into more stereotyping, because it's like, you know, like, oh, we need something, so let's just throw these really basic kind of like characteristic or character traits into it. It's like it's not really thought out, you know? Like, why do we need one? Oh, they just needed one. And like, but yeah, that was like the complaints I was having with like when it came to the like the whole gay part. It's just that it was like what they treated for some characters didn't feel as genuine for others, and like some people were just like, look, I'm all for this, but when you do it to like this and to this extent, you push people away, if anything. Like the original, her partner, that makes people actually interested and be like, hey, you know, like this is genuine. But when you do this other side, it's just like, I don't feel a connection. This just feels forced. Why are you trying to force this on when I'm just trying to deal with like, when I'm just trying to play a game, you know? Like, like that's always like, that always seems like to be like the argument. It's like, I just want to play a game. I don't want to deal with politics. I don't want to deal with social economic issues. I just want to play a game, you know? And there is merit to that, but at the same time, I think it also comes down to like how you were saying with the art kind of stuff. It's like there are 80 other games that pretty much do the same thing. If you want, you can play those games. They probably don't push certain issues as much. You can play those. They're just as fine. You don't have to play this. Play it. This one is trying to do that, but it's also trying to push shit. That's what this game is about. If you don't like that, don't play it. Find another game that does the same shit, but that just doesn't touch on those subjects. There you go.
Yeah.
Have time of your life.
What? I don't know what else we could say to that, you know, because it's all gonna come down to, it's like, I don't know. It's like, well, they did this in my movie that I've been following for 20 years and I hate it. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but that is now the path this movie is going down.
Yeah.
You have to accept that. And if you don't like it, then just drop off, man. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you'll be very into a franchise, and then you'll look back on it 10 years later and think, wow, I don't think that way anymore. So I don't feel that way. Obviously, it's more of a natural progression for you to be able, hindsight kind of thing. But if it's thrown in your face and you hate it, it's gonna hurt. But there's not much you can do about that at that point. If it's produced, it's out there, it's in the world. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And for games like this where I'm sure it has something to do with something in the narrative, obviously, but I don't know, man. Like, if you want to change this game this badly, fucking make it.
Well,
I guess that's the only thing I can say, man.
yes,
I'm at a loss.
But there are copyright issues with that.
I don't mean this game specifically, but
right,
I mean, go make your vision. You know,
if
you want, go make a fucking fan film.
Yeah.
Write fan fiction.
I would say like the main thing that like anyone could, like when they want something like, here's my game that I've been following for so long. You guys changed it. I don't like it. The only time I'm like, okay, ask for a redo, where I think that's justified, is if it changed creative director. That's usually it. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, hey, like that. So that's the whole like Justice League.
Yeah.
Why people feel disgruntled? Well, the director literally changed. It was going in one direction. Everyone was all for it. Then something happened, changed. People didn't like the way this director ended up doing stuff. Sucks for that. And sucks that that's the one we got. But like, there's always the whole, I wonder how the original would have written it, A lot of people don't like some of the things Ruby went down with. The Rooster Teeth animation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people credit it to the passing of Monty Oum. Once he passed away, we literally got a fucking season where they just walked around. Like, yeah. Like I like the series, but that was a very weak season.
It was, and to be fair, I'm actually Alma and I are actually going through Ruby. We're finally on season 7 now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We started like last week.
Oh shit.
To be fair, they're short episodes.
Yeah, to be fair, up until season 4, all of them are like within 20 minutes or 10 minutes.
But no, I see where it changed. But what I was gonna say is, did you know that Monty Oum voiced Ren?
Yes.
For like the first 2 seasons? I didn't know that. And then when I saw it in the credits, I got very sad. But then someone with the same last name, it has to be somebody related to something, stepped in and started voicing Ren from then on out. And then I felt a little happy. Still a little sad, but I felt happy. Anyhow.
That reminds me of the Uncle Iroh stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Japanese voice actor, he ended up passing away. Which is why in book 3, we got very little Iroh. Is because they wanted to because
Iroh got cut.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
There's like this whole thing in the Japanese culture where if like the voice actor passes away or something like that. I think Brianna knows more about it. Let me ask. Brie, what's the remember the thing about Iroh's voice actor, the Japanese voice actor when he passed away? You were telling me that they didn't voice it, and there's a reason, because they don't like voicing something when someone passes away? Like, what is it? The song? Right, okay. Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, John talks to Brianna. Let me tell you about our sponsor.
Okay. So basically, the singing portion of Iroh was basically like the thing that his I think wasn't it also like one of the last things he voiced? Yeah. So
The original picture of the
Leave from
that Iroh was
behind,
that's the voice actor
falling so slow.
right. Okay. So there's a little bit of
Sorry, I just teared up a little bit.
the picture actually. So there's a little bit. The picture of our nephew or son is actually the voice actor of Iroh, the Japanese voice
Whoa.
actor. It is a picture of him when he was in the military, when he was younger and in the military.
Well, now I feel sadder.
Now you feel sadder. But yeah, like the song was like one of the last things he did. So they wanted to really like, I guess they tend not to want to voice over those kind of characters because they want to honor that. So they don't like retouching stuff. So there was a lot of Iroh in season 3, book 3, but they cut out because they didn't want to like step over too much of what the original voice actor had left out. But anyways, a little tangent from what we were talking about.
A little bit of normalcy in this episode.
Yeah. Anyways, getting back to it. Yeah. When the creative director changes, that's really when I'm like, when I can say to a person, you feel justified in feeling that you want to redo. You know, like if the director changed or the writer changed or something like that, I can see where you feel justified in wanting a redo because you want how the original was doing it. Or hell, maybe you didn't like the original and it wasn't until the new people came in that you started liking it and you were like, I wish I knew how they would have envisioned the first. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because
creative direction changing is I don't know, it's such a jarring effect on the product, but no, I definitely agree. Like it leaves it a little more for, hey, maybe if we can get the original persons, and sometimes they just go off and do their own thing on YouTube.
And
it's like, hey,
Mhm.
Nickelodeon and I didn't feel the same. This is how I actually would have done this because it's my creation and I can draw it still.
Yeah. I mean, like, even, like, it really comes down to just how much the artist has a hand in everything. Because, like, you can look at Dragon Ball Super, right? The animation and the comic are both considered canon. Because the comic is going heavily based off of notes that the original Akira Toriyama, it's his stuff. He's saying, these are the plot points. These are the major plot points. Get to them. That's it. But the animation, he's also having a big hand in. However, the other person that's also writing and doing all the writing of the manga, I mean, he hits the plot points, but he does a lot of other stuff. Like you see scenes that are completely different. The Tournament of Power, Gohan, I think he got knocked out within like the first few or some shit. I don't like, you have completely different orders and they're all kind of slightly considered canon. But and like again, he's going heavily based off of notes that are being left by Akira Toriyama. But you get two vastly different stories because you have different writers. You have different creators. But yeah, creators make a difference. So when you have one that tries to say, like, pick up off after another, even if they have the best notes, the most detailed notes, it's still going to be slightly different. They would have, maybe they're like, we have to stick to them and notes the way they wanted. But maybe the original creator would have done the exact same thing, but then realized, actually, these are all shit. I need to change like the majority of these notes. Like, thank God no one actually went off these notes because I don't agree with half of them anymore. And he went with like a different route, You never know.
Well, in the case of The Last of Us 2, Neil Druckmann, still there, still making shit happen.
The lead writer did change.
Still sucks to suck. Yeah, I think so. And I think Neil Druckmann actually had a hand in the story.
See, to that,
but
See, my main complaints, and again, I haven't played Last of Us 2, so I don't know. I didn't even
Good
play
on you
Last of
for-
1, so I don't give a shit.
Good on you, John. Gold star.
But from what I've seen and what I've talked about, I think Last of Us 2 is a fine game. I think it's absolutely fine. I think they just didn't sell certain aspects of the story narrative, and some key points could have been written out a little bit better, and maybe with a slight adjustment to like the order of how things went, it would have been fine. Like, other than that, I think the game's fine. I think it's a good game. I think it's a great game. Like 7 out of 10, maybe. Like, and that's with the issues I have. You adjust if maybe like how, like, I would have been like, oh, this scene probably could have been down over here before this other scene. Maybe maybe a small change like that probably could have brought 8 out of 10. Stuff like that. It's just like, it's, who knows? But I think
still a very kind rating.
Yeah, no, I mean, because again, like I've done my research on a lot of how people complained, and I looked at a lot of complaints that people had, and I looked at a lot of praise that people have, and I'm like, you know, it's like there are a lot of things that some mention and then write off, and then the things that they write off, people are like, shouldn't have written that off. That's a big part of how the game is, And then some of them just seem like it's just stupid shit that's like, this should have happened, and it's just like, fuck no. If you know the story, if you know the universe, it was bound to happen. Shut up.
It's funny how that you gave it a score. I mean, it's natural, but Alana Pierce, who, for those of you who don't know, is a video games journalist who works currently at Funhouse, who previously worked at IGN and was freelance for a while, I believe. She actually did a video about how game industry, well, people in the game industry in that realm, such as IGN and stuff, actually do their 10-point scale, because a lot of people think that people pay off reviewers and stuff,
right.
And she goes into it and is very enlightening, honestly. And she actually had a controversial take on rating for The Last of Us, and she also has another video with some other people who rated it differently. It's a very spoilerific discussion. So if you want to go check that out, Alana Pierce, very, very good. So shout out to her. But for me, from what I know,
what was her rating? What was her rating?
Her rating, fuck, I can't remember, but it was a little low.
It was?
Yeah, it definitely was not a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I saw her. I didn't see all of it, but I saw bits of her playthrough, and I saw her how she did the end, and like, again, simple things. Like, even there's a scene that happens in the end, and she was like, probably would have been better if it gave you the choice. He's like, this is one thing where I think the audience should have given it. Would have been more impactful if we were given the choice instead of being forced to go with whatever. Like, the small things like that. Like, she was like, that would have sold that scene way better. Instead, I just wasted my 20 minutes watching this. Like, and I was just like, fuck. But like, that's the thing. Like, I don't have a fault with the game. I have faults with minor things that improve the game. Whereas, like, yeah, maybe not giving us that choice ruins the last 20 minutes. Maybe if we had had that choice, it might have been better. And that could go fucking to, like, think of a game like Mass Effect, right? Mass Effect 3. Everyone hated the fact that at the final decision, most of what you did didn't fucking matter, because it still gives you the choice in the end. Whereas they made the game out to be like, hey, your choices throughout the game and the past games dictate how this game ends. Not really. It just takes who survives. That's it. The actual ending is just, I don't know, which one of these options do you like more? Have fun. It's like there's something like that made it seem unworth it. But had they just been like, not had that part, and say they have different outcomes, right? And it just goes based off all your other choices, that's fine. You could live with it, and you're like, fuck yeah, I worked for that choice, or I didn't, or I worked for that choice, or I worked hard but I didn't get the choice I wanted, and maybe I need to rethink some of the choices I made. You know, that makes it feel worth it. Whereas when it's giving you these choices, it's like, this wasn't worth it at all. I fucking hate this. Simple things, I guess.
True. Well, just to close out on that topic. Personally, I feel, hey man, this is what you got. This is what you got. I'm sorry that, you know, if it's a risk that all creators do with their content. You know, like anything that we say now, I mean, it's not on as big of a scale as one of the greatest games in PlayStation history, according to sales.
Ding.
What we do, anything that we say now, yeah, we edit it, but we're still, you know, putting it out for the most part, so it affects how people see us. If someone doesn't like it, you know, there's only so much we can do. There's always time for an open discussion. Have an open discussion about it, not an argument. Not an argument. Don't come out the fucking gates with fuck you, fuck this, this is why you're wrong. No, it's an argument. It's like, these are my feelings towards this is why I feel this. And then someone responds in kind. And then you continue that. Don't wait for someone to respond in kind and be like, fuck you, here's why you're wrong. And I'm gonna wait until you realize I'm right. You know, like that's not how these things progress. That's not how things like this that are shattering your world change in the future. You have to have a discussion. And in video games, it has to happen because there are so many discussions that happen in the video game industry that do not come to light, and they don't get enough focus on. And that has to do with a lot of people just being super aggro about things. And, you know, in other ways, it has to do with just, I don't know, people just being shit. Just in general. And yeah. Yeah, that's basically how I feel about it. I don't know. I don't even know if I answered everything properly, but
you got
I don't
answers.
know. Don't be shitty people.
Don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
All right, yeah. That's a great Philip DeFranco would say. Philip de la Franco.
Philip de la Franco. I forget I can do a decent telenovela announcer. These guys sound like Philip de la Franco. Any more thoughts on that, John? Just close that up.
Maybe not really. I guess my only thought is like how I say with like The Last of Us, I don't really try to complain about what was bad about the game. Just what I think could have been better. That's all. Like,
of course,
you know, like, yeah, it's easy to tear down for shit, but it's harder to say what you like and think of creative ways that could have been better, or like fixes. And I think if you actually focus on that aspect, you'll come up with a better review than, and like, I guess, like argumentative, like way of defending your claim than if you do the other one. Like if I think, okay, what do I like about this game? I like this, I like that, I like that. What didn't I like? Okay, I didn't really like all that. How would I change that? Okay, I would do this, you know? And then I think then you end up thinking about, okay, well, maybe that's a lot harder to change than I think. Maybe that is really the only way that you can really do that without fucking up this other thing, you know? You start realizing, okay, you start thinking of it as a whole and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that if you're trying to come up with a better argument, I think that's like a good way to do it, because anyone can point out flaws. It's really fucking easy. It takes the most minimal amount of work to do, I think, comparatively to the other one. But yeah, I think that's my my main closing on that. That being said, though, Halo 5 is still a shitty game, and you can't tell me anyways any other way. I don't want to play a game where I play 3 times as Master Chief, and one of those times I just walk around. Fuck you. Fuck that game. It was trash. Thank you. That's been my TED Talk.
So I believe what you're saying is there's a difference between talking shit and constructive criticism.
Yes.
Got it. Okay,
Multiplayer was fun. See, there you go.
It did a lot for the franchise, guys. Just believe us. Clamber is fucking game changer.
Running
Running sprint without a fucking
ability or
pack.
something.
Yeah.
Pack.
So, and this is, I don't know, I could already feel myself getting aggravated. So just to touch back on something I said a couple minutes ago. Shitty people do very shitty things. And I warned you at the first, few minutes of this episode. It's going to be a heavy one. Shitty people do very shitty things because they are shitty. A lot of things have been coming to light very recently in the video game industry. And it's not even that it's coming to light very recently. It's that more of it is coming to light.
It's like day by day.
Yes.
It's
like it's the cleansing from Hollywood now in the video game industry.
Right.
And it really sucks to see that in a community that you're so very heavily invested in. Just because, yes, John.
I was thinking about that, right? And I'll let you get back to it, but I just want to point this out. Yes, I agree. It does suck because no one wants to be like, oh, my community has toxicity, Being said, I think in the long run, it's good that this happens, Just want to point it out. Like, yeah,
not the acts themselves, the things getting shed light on. Let's make that clear.
Yeah. Yes. It sucks that all of this is happening, and it's gonna suck if you ever find out like someone that you believed in for a long time turns out was kind of a shitty person. But that being said, I think it will only make for a better tomorrow, so to speak. Like, yeah, all this sucks, and honestly, you get on your phone and like new day, 10 new names, and you're just like, well, this sucks. But hopefully and ideally, it means that maybe in a month from now, you'll have a space where more genuine people that are trying to do their best and do things correctly and do things right, they have more of a platform. And then from a year from now, we have way bigger creators, bigger people, bigger names that are more genuine, that are good, that are doing their best, and hopefully a much better community than the one that is being essentially cleansed right now. That's that's well, how to say, is kind of like how I've been seeing it. Everyone like, yeah, it all sucks. You don't want to believe that the person you believed in was a bad person, but sooner or later, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate that anyone has to go through this at all. But I'm not gonna name names because for one, I don't have them pulled up. I should have done a little more work to pull some up, but also throw a rock in any direction and you're gonna see something.
Yeah.
Like that's what this is at this point. June has been a very, very intense month. For very many reasons. Black Lives Matter movement, and the protests have been ramping up in speed. The country is damn near been on fire, and honestly, it sucks that we never got to talk about that because we wanted to do a lot more research and a more research heavy episode about it. But obviously, shit should not be happening the way it has been, and we definitely acknowledge that. And there are little things that we can do to do our part to give support as an ally, whether it's donating, signing petitions, going to protests. I knocked out 2 out of 3 because health concerns. But either way, just support people that are trying to beat people. That's it. That's it. That's just a touch on that. But a lot of these allegations coming out in the video game industry are primarily, as far as I've seen, of course, are coming from women. Because, as the saying goes, go to any woman in your life and ask if she's been sexually assaulted or catcalled. Or,
to some extent, yeah.
Yeah, to some extent. And if one of them says no, then it's a good chance that they just don't realize it yet. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating again and I do acknowledge your point, John. It's good to see that these are coming out so we can fucking cleanse.
Yeah.
So we can get this shit just over and get these fucking people out of these places that we love and away from the people that make these places great. But fuck, I lost my train.
It's hard to, it's a tricky subject to speak on. It's without,
And-
stepping on a landmine and saying something that, can be misconstrued. Stuff like, so yeah, we've been trying to figure out, again, I guess, like Daniel was saying, one of the reasons why, like, we didn't really necessarily at the moment talk much on, like, the whole Black Lives Matter movement was, like, it was just it's a subject, and this subject included is one that requires a little bit more finesse. And as I have always said, and if anyone ever pays attention, you will know, for the most part, this is a conversational podcast where two buds talk out their asses. So, as I was always fucked it up, I know, but that's
upfront. It's upfront and it's there.
Yeah, so that's why when it's coming to these kind of conversations, it's like, well, we can't really be talking out our asses. We can't be talking out our butts. They require more sensitivity and more finesse. So that's why it's like, it took us a while to be like, okay, how can we do this in a way where we feel that we have, where we can say things in a manner that is to the cause or the situation that we're trying to address. And that's mainly just like why it's been so like, I don't know how to say this kind of thing. Give me a second. Losing train of thought. That's pretty much where we're at right now. It's like we do want to talk about this stuff because it is important and it's affecting the stuff that we deeply care about. So to not is doing it a disservice, I guess.
Yeah, and it does hurt to have week by week go by and say, are we gonna do this still? While we still have to research it. Well, the thing that doesn't help is the world keeps turning and new fires pop up everywhere. And this current topic about the game industry and the problems that are being addressed at the moment came very, very quickly after the protests.
2020 is not letting people fucking relax.
It is not, man. But honestly, some work is getting done, and that's the silver lining we have to look at. But
yeah, like I was saying, like, you know, like as much as it's shit, timing for everything to be happening, maybe it was the best timing and the only timing for these things to like come align, or to align, I should say. Like,
yeah,
yeah, maybe it caused a global pandemic. Like, that's unfortunate to think, but yeah, maybe it did cause a
it
global.
took a pandemic.
Yeah, in order for some of this shit to be able to be talked about.
Yeah, and in regards to the current topic, which if you haven't been able to tell yet, is sexual misconduct and oftentimes just bigotry and racism in the game industry has been happening, and obviously for years, but it's taken a pandemic to get these people away from the people that they are being essentially abused by, and put them in a place where they feel comfortable telling their stories and being supported by their communities, and they don't have to see this person every day. For the most part, there are some people that still have to go back to their offices and such, or are coming out and talking about people that are in their lives very closely. But it takes real strength to break a bridge like that, because no one wants to, you know, if your fucking arm gets infected and it's slowly killing you, you don't want to cut off your arm because it's but in order for you to press on, you have to make that jump. And I truly do respect the people that have been coming out, and I you know, as a man, like I'm so sorry to see all of this that is happening coming to light in such a huge fashion, and it truly breaks my heart that you just can't get away from this. Like like if you're born a woman, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you're born a certain color, you're fucked. If you're born with fuck, I can't even put a thought together. If you're born gay, you're fucked. Like this kind of world we live in, and it's fucked. Like that's I don't know, that's just the whole thing about it. But having all of these people come out and say, I didn't think that I would ever say anybody about that. And of course, a lot of this is just happening on social media. Like people aren't even making full videos or anything. They're just tweet 140 characters, or just
Twit
like
longer.
Yeah, twit longer, which is popping up. I had never seen it before this. Or they go into their notes, they draft a tweet, and then just put the pictures up. They're going to social media to people that they feel comfortable to, and are being terrified to press send. And but they do it anyway, and inflows just so many people in support. But of course, a lot of people have questions too. A lot of people are still, well, that's not how I know this person.
Right.
Well, that I've known this person my entire life. You don't know them like I do. And it's rough to see these people get beaten down like that. And
yeah,
it's just a hard thing to go around. But then you see other people pop up and say, or even like DM that person, or get into contact with them somehow and say, actually, this happened to me with this person as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
and you get that sense of, I'm not fucking crazy.
It's really interesting, because it's like, it's kind of like the safest, and I don't want to say easiest, but like, it's easier for some to be able to, you know, go to social media and write this out and tweet it out than it is to go in person and confront, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, you can see how that would be easier. I'm not saying it's like exactly. I'm just saying like just for the sake of like anyways.
Yeah.
At the same time though, it is also the most demanding because you know maybe maybe it's harder to go up to that one person, or maybe it's like a group of friends, you like intervention style, 5, 10 people, right? And say what you need to say, you know, because those people are the ones that you interact with, you probably daily. They're physical, they're there, and so it's hard to bring yourself up to it. You need to find that courage and all that. But the how to say the backlash could be not as extreme as when you go to social media. And it's interesting because you feel that you think like objectively, oh, it's easier. You just need to type it out. But the backlash is more intense because you get a lot of people that support, but then you have like thousands of people that also will come at you and just be like the most cruel way of like, nah, absolute bullshit. I don't believe a single goddamn thing you're saying. So it's just like it's this weird. It's weird how it's both easier and yet the fucking hardest route to take, as opposed to like in person, which seems easier but is also just as hard in other ways. It's like it's the how to say like the balance, I guess, is like one's easier for this but really hard for that, and the other one is extremely hard for that but slightly easier for this. And it's just like there's no perfect way to do it, and I think that's one of the issues, and where it sucks is like there's no perfect way or no solution where you can do this and feel like they're going to be safe and they're not going to get attacked and they're not going to be questioned or whatever just for trying to say something. It sucks that we don't have a system in place or anything in place where it's like these people can just say what they need to say and just have nothing but support, or at the very least, not thousands of people berating and giving death threats just because you tried, speaking about something that probably was extremely difficult just to come to acceptance. Because that's the other thing. Like, it's not even just saying, oh, like, getting it out there. Like, some people have to accept, like, the shit that did happen to them. And that in and of itself is, I don't know. I've never had to deal with it. I can only imagine how hard it is. And I can only use like personal losses as like a form of like way of going like, oh, like once like having like that's my only smallest like way of how to say
Sympathize.
Yeah. It's where like you have to accept that that person is gone and that they're never coming back, and that's hard to do. I can only imagine using that as my like background, the other shit,
Yeah.
is because that I don't even know. I don't know.
The only thing I feel personally that I can equate to are the people that are showing their support and then putting out their messages of, I had absolutely no fucking clue that this was happening. Had it been happening in front of me, which is the ideal situation, even if it's not ideal, had it happened in front of me, something would have gone down. And the people that are like, we fought for this, like, but we kept getting turned away. That, whether it was like a terrible boss, like just trying to cover their ass or cover the ass of their star employee or something, or if it was just misogyny within the workplace and shit. Like, that's the only thing I can compare it to, because obviously there something in our lives where we let someone down when they needed us, when they spoke out and we let them down. it happens to everybody on a small scale to a big scale. And that it's that feeling's never going to equate to how these people that go through everything feel. And whether that's a blessing of ignorance or just we got lucky by not having to go through that, I don't know, man, but that's the only thing I can like attempt to recognize as something I've gone through, which is like letting someone down when they needed me and like not having any idea that something happened in their life that changed this, and it happened with a mutual person, a mutual friend, or just someone that we both know. Like, fucking terrifying. And if you know, if you get that feeling from just knowing that something so close to you was happening and you had no idea, and it was so fucking terrible, I can't even begin to fathom the actual act of being with, you know, participating, well, not participating, but being within that act.
Right.
And it's hard to see these things come out, and it's all because of social media. And social media has been giving people a platform to stand on, where thousands of people, if you have a following, can come and support you. But it also gives the opportunity for people to come and
Tear you down
with the slightest thing. It can be from calling you some type of slur, or even just calling you an idiot, to just saying something that they think is innocent, which is, well, that's not the person I know. You know, it's such a complicated thing, but
even the idea that, you know, someone can say, like, they could speak out. Just the idea, I guess, that there are going to be people that are willing to put in time and effort and everything in their being just to be like, you're wrong, and I'm going to try to prove you wrong, fucking sucks. Like, if you say this one thing and someone's like, all right, I'm going to go through Twitter, I'm going to go all this, I'm going to try to find every single fact, every single little detail, just so I can prove that you're fucking wrong, because I don't want you to say anything about this person.
yeah.
And that I think is probably one of the things. It's just like, yeah, it's just like there are people out there that are just so, they stand by so desperately that it's just like they're willing to be like, wow, what this person said is really fucking intense, important. Maybe we should give them, like, you know, maybe we should actually consider what they're saying is true. And instead, they're just like, that's bullshit, and I'll prove it. And it's just like, do you understand, like, what they said? Yeah. The fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how could you just see that and just be like, nah, and just be like, I'm gonna prove them wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, and with these terrible things that come out, one of, yeah, and it happens in like domestic abuse cases, and you know, at the very start, and going on to like sexual assault cases and stuff, like there's always one fucker that asks the victim, well, why didn't you tell anybody? And it's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I was afraid of dying.
Yeah.
Maybe I was afraid of getting raped again.
Why'd you wait 20 years?
Yeah, it's like
some shit like that.
It's like, well, and I'm not saying I do, but it's like a person in that situation has to think, well, do you fucking know what I went through?
Mm-hmm.
Do you fucking know what it feels like to go through what I have gone through? They're not gonna have a fucking answer for that, and even if they do, then that person has a right to speak up too, because there's obviously something happening there that's making them think that what happened to them is a good thing. That person, those type of people need help, and there's
even worse is like the ones that are just like, you know, is where it's just like, why didn't you say something? I spoke out. Like, I called the cops like 2 hours later or some shit. And just like, good on you.
Not everybody has the
yeah.
fucking chance.
Not everyone has the chance. Not everyone has the support group. Not everyone has the, dare I say, privilege to be able to do that. You know, like it's just there are a lot of factors, and yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to see all of this happening, and I feel so bad that I can't say much more on it because I don't I don't know it. I can only get so angry on camera,
right.
and I have to refrain from saying so many things on camera. But
Especially
also,
with, out publicly.
yeah, true. But also, like, I haven't done, and it goes back to the same thing, like the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mhm.
Why we didn't really talk about it because I don't have all the information. And I'm not saying that I don't believe people that are coming out and saying that they've been abused or assaulted. I'm not saying that at all. It's just that when I say I don't have all the knowledge, is that I don't know everything that happens in that situation, and it's not some type of cop out to not show how I feel about this, because obviously I've shown how I feel.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know. It's something like you said earlier. It's not something that I want to talk out of my ass about.
Yeah.
It's something that deserves the time to look at, deserves the time to speak clearly about, to articulate about, because this shit affects everyone. Like,
Mhm.
whether you know it or not, again, throw a rock any direction, you're going to hit something. And if you don't believe that, I dare you, go ask any woman in your life, and you will be shocked. It's rough, man.
Yeah. And then you can say the same with like Black Lives Matter. It's like you go to anyone that's just like like in a minority, so to speak.
Mhm.
It's just like, yeah, go to any one of them, and even as as high of a living standard as they might have, probably something, like, I mean, for instance, I mean, you guys know, like, I've had a much more privileged life than you guys, than you and like Dominic and Joel, and I thank my dad for all that, but like, still things I had to deal with. Like, I like nothing extreme, but like I've still had things, and that's my point. It's just like, it doesn't really matter. Everyone will have something. That's just the way. That's just shit where we have to deal with, and that sucks. But yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, being a person of color is a wild ride in and of itself.
yeah,
I can't imagine being a woman of color.
yeah,
Yeah. But I know people in my life that I have spoken that tell me their experiences, and I just want to fucking hit somebody. Like, and sometimes that's enough for people, Sometimes they just want to know that someone gives a shit.
yeah.
And like, I don't know, just before we move on from this topic, because we're going a little long, and we want to talk about some more fucked up shit.
Yeah,
but kind of end on a high note. Yeah, man, show support to the people that ask for your help.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe them for any reason, then do what any normal person would do. Don't shut them down and be like, bullshit. It's like the same. I don't mean to equate it to such a menial thing in retrospect, but it's like what I was saying with The Last of Us. Do your fucking due diligence. Ask questions. Help people. Be there for people. Like, it's not Like it seems scary, but I promise you, it is fucking frightening for the person coming to you for help, because that takes a strong person to begin with to ask other people for help.
Mm-hmm.
To come to people for these types of things, whether it's just racism that they're experiencing, whether it's misogyny, whether they got sexually abused or assaulted, like why wouldn't you want to help someone close to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I can say on that, without like yelling at people.
Right. All right. Well, so it's just so.
Yeah.
Anyways, all of that has been happening in the month of June. Obviously, much longer, but ever since June, we've been seeing a massive spike and a lot of situations where a lot of people have been, I say, exposed, or like a lot of people have been coming out and speaking about a lot of
Terrible shit.
and a lot of people in the industry, and it culminated into something that happened again. Another reason why we brought up the Black Lives Matter is a blackout, essentially. So with Black Lives Matter, we had an event. It was called Black Tuesday, where everyone took to social media, and the idea was to stay off of social media, and instead allow it to be used primarily by people that were going to be posting information on like how to protest, on rallies, on individuals that were killed or like were harassed, all the injustice essentially, and that's ideally what it was supposed to be for, and it was a way to show solidarity with all that. What ended up happening was a lot of that, but at the same time, a lot of people also started changing a lot of their icons and posting pictures of a black square or whatever as a way, and changing their names to like Black Lives Matter. And it was a way to just like black out everything to show like support, like this, like I'm not going to be tweeting like a booty pic today, instead it's going to be, I'm going to show solidarity. Good intentioned, as it was, it did create a little bit of a feedback loop in a sense. I don't know if feedback loop's the right word, but it didn't quite hit the right note, so to speak, because what ended up happening is a lot of people ended up doing, like still posting in a sense. Yes, it was a black picture and it was for solidarity, but it was still post. And those posts would get pushed out and for some reason still recommended because of like bigger names and stuff like that. And then the posts that were more about like, oh, when to meet up for a rally, or when to, how to protest legally, how to keep your rights while protesting, pointing out any injustice. A lot of those wouldn't always get shared, and instead they would get drowned out by a lot of these black squares. So it was this situation of, good intention. People were trying to show solidarity, but at the same time, we're also kind of going against the whole idea, which was, no one take to social media. So that way it was only of the important shit, give it only to the people that had voices to speak on the very important topics. So that's more or less what happened there. Well, now we have the whole gaming thing, And websites and communities for gaming currently is Twitch with live stream gaming. So what ended up happening, I forget the day, but basically, it was a Thursday, if I remember correctly. No, it was a Wednesday.
I think it might have been June 22nd.
June 22nd. Oh, okay. All right. So basically, the idea was, hey, in a way to show solidarity, because with like a lot of these people that were speaking out, it was like the people wanted these bigger companies to take notice, because obviously some of these people were using this platform and they were big names, and it didn't seem like Twitch and other companies, for that matter, were doing anything about it. It was very much being pushed mainly by the people. So Twitch Blackout became a thing in which people would not stream on Twitch as a way to get Twitch to notice all of the issues being brought up, because for a while it was just staying silent, or they were just staying silent. So the idea was to not stream, to essentially cause a blackout where no one would stream, and instead Twitch would be, forced to recognize all the reasons why no one was streaming, and would hopefully act on it. Well, for the most part, didn't really seem like a lot of people agreed with that. Not for the reasons of why the blackout was called, but more on the methods to address the issues being called out. A lot of people were saying, I'm still going to stream. Maybe monetarily, I can't afford not to. It is my job and I need it to survive. Others were like, hey, I get it and I understand, but I don't think this is the way to do it for this platform. I don't think silencing my voice is the way to actually go about this change. I think it would be better to continue to stream and instead talk about the issues at hand. And then, like I said, with the Black Lives Matter Blackout Tuesday thing, other people like that didn't really work out the way it was intended. And much like this, I don't think this is going to work out the way we're thinking, because I don't think this is the answer for this medium, to which I agree to an extent. I think every medium has a different way it can react, and I don't think necessarily blacking out or silencing is the right form of protest or to speak out on a subject. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I think it really just depends on the situation at hand, who you're trying to address, and how you want to like speak their language, I guess, or get them to notice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was basically that's what happened with Twitch. And then eventually, actually what ended up happening is a lot of people still ended up streaming, and Twitch ended up banning a lot of people regardless.
Let the record show perma banning.
Right, perma banning.
So not only are you not allowed to stream, your channel is gone.
Yeah. So real quickly, there are 3 tiers. There's ban, shadow ban, and perma ban. Ban is you can't stream, but your channel is still technically a thing. You are still like a figure. You can't do anything.
You still exist.
You still exist. Shadow ban is you are streaming, you still exist, but all of the algorithm is keeping you at the very fucking bottom. You think you're still reaching out, and just nobody for some reason is getting a notification or coming by, when in reality they're essentially digging you into a grave and covering you up. You're still alive, just no one will know, kind of thing. And then there's permaban, which is like, bye, bitch, you gone, kind of thing, where you're, yeah, you're completely axed out of the community and system and everything. So those are like the three main tiers of banning. Not in any particular order. I guess if anything, it's like shadow ban, ban, and then permaban, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a thing. What do you think? I was just mainly saying
Just
like what happened.
recapping.
Yeah, recapping what happened.
So I decided to do a stream just the night before. And I had no idea that the Twitch blackout was going to happen until maybe hours before my. So I was like, okay, cool. 12 midnight for 24 hours, Twitch blackout. Okay, cool. I'm going to stream Arkham Knight for its 5-year anniversary. It's going to be fun. John joined in. We talked a little bit about the Twitch blackout. And I stopped 11:55 or so. But something we also talked about during that time, well, I'll run back to that, but it is these blackout things are very touchy things because yes, it's going to be very polarizing, the effect that people think is going to have on this. So there's going to be the one side that's like, I'm going to show my solidarity. We are going to black out so Twitch notices us, because if there are enough of us, they're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Our numbers dropped drastically. What's going on? They look at it, they look at social media, Twitch blackout. Okay, cool. Why is this? Oh, so Twitch acknowledges people instead of just saying that we're listening.
Right.
Which they did eventually. But via permaban, of course. But then there's going to be the people that say, well, you're not helping anything if you're using your following, your platform, your voice that can reach so many people, no matter how little you are. If you're silencing your voice, then you're not doing anything to help the cause. You should be boosting voices. You should be sharing what you feel about these injustices. You should be demanding on stream that Twitch pay attention to you. You should scream loud so that they look at you, basically. So there's scream loud so that you're noticed, or disappear so that you're noticed.
And can I add one thing real quickly? And I wanted to say, I think the other thing is a lot of people also get it kind of wrong when they think of Twitch as a game streaming service. It is, don't get me wrong, but I would want to point out that over the past year or so, Twitch has kind of gone in a new direction. It's not something that it's like, like very, that they say, and it's like, oh yeah, we are now this or whatever. It's just, you can see this when if you're a part of the community, you'll know that in the past year or two, one of the biggest subcategories of Twitch has become just chatting. In the past year or two, it has become one of like the top 10 subjects. Like it's usually like this category is like, say it's Modern Warfare, the next one's Dota 2, and then third place is just chatting. And for the past year or so, just chatting has been dominating the top 10 spots of Twitch. It is now like almost always up there. It is a major part of just like of Twitch, because people started realizing that, yes, you are here to play games. Like that's what we're doing. We're live streaming, playing games. But they realize that the community is so much more than that. And the best way to get to know your community is just to chat. That's why you see the biggest streamers out there, like Dr. Lupo, Tim the Tapman. They, like Tim, I think himself, will spend the first hour of his stream just talking and chatting with his community, just talking. Then they'll get into games and stuff like that. But that is a big part of like how they grow their following is they're communicating, they're talking with their chat, they're interacting, they're creating this sort of bond. And in the last year or two, I think that's one thing that people sometimes forget is that it's no longer just a place where people play games and that's all they do and they only talk about games. No, like a lot of people talk as a community about a wide range of subjects. It's not always like the most yeah, some people are just talking about like what they have in their fridge and what they're eating or some shit like that. You know, but like that's I think that's a misconception that some people have where, you know, it's why some people feel that their voices shouldn't be silenced and why they need to be speaking. Like how you were saying is like, yeah, for some of these people, just chatting is really what they do. And a good way to do it, especially if you have a large following, is, you know, start your live stream, go on to just chatting, and then talk about the subjects going on. Talk about the issues that are being addressed right now, you know? And I think that's what some people tend to forget is they think Twitch is just, oh, you're just there to play games. And in reality, no. A lot of people are also spending a lot of time talking about different things. And why that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people want to be like, no, I want to not black out. I want to continue talking and I want to address these. And potentially, I was telling Daniel this, say you have a big streamer streaming to 5,000 viewers, right? If they had decided to black out and they didn't do anything, they just say, I'm going to support this on Twitter or something, maybe only a handful of those viewers, their average viewers, follow them on Twitch or on Twitter. So only 1,000 people really know. The other 4,000, maybe they have no idea. Or let's reverse that. Maybe the 4,000 know, maybe 1,000 don't follow. So 4,000 know why they're blocking out. And you're like, okay, cool. The other 1,000 just are like, they just didn't stream today. And say they go somewhere else and they never know why that person didn't stream. That's 1,000 people that person didn't reach. Or that person stream and instead talk about the subject at hand and still reach those 5,000 people. And then they can have a conversation about the issues that are being addressed. And the 1,000 people that didn't know this entire thing was going on are now being introduced to this entire subject and are being informed of everything and are just, you know, it's 1,000 people that weren't originally going to get touched that are now being talked to and, you know, are being brought into the entire conversation, being a part of the larger conversation and everything.
Yeah, it's really important. Like a big message that's been coming out of, I mean, again, with these things, it's been coming out for quite some time, but a big message that's been coming out during the Black Lives Matter protests and during everything going on in the game industry and is use your voice, because when you the mentality of I'm one person that no one even watches me, like who's gonna listen to me or what? That mentality is slowly being dismantled and very much discouraged. And it's turning into use your voice, no matter how small, to either boost voices or show support.
Yeah, to signal boost, essentially.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what led to the Twitch blackout being such a polarizing subject, because some people were like, you know what, I'm just gonna show my support during via blackout, and some people were like, no, like voice, you know, like now more than ever, because with Twitch, like when you stream, you don't always have to have friends come drop by or people that follow. You can have one follower and still have 50 people in your chat. Yeah. Because that's just kind of how Twitch works. I mean, it has its own algorithm and whatnot, but that's just kind of how Twitch works. If people find something that they're interested in and they look at you and they're like, oh, yeah, fuck it, why not? They dive in, they like you, they end up following you. that's just kind of how things work with Twitch. So it's kind of a different medium than with Twitter and Instagram with the idea of a blackout, because anyone can find you. With Twitter, it's much more of a centralized like bubble, like you make your community on your own. Twitch, yeah, that can happen, but it also it has wider reach, you know?
Yeah, on Twitter, you literally need to pay to promote outside of your, or you need people to retweet. But retweeting is just signal boosting, because then it's just like, hey, I did this, I said this one thing, you retweet it, so your community sees it. Thank you. But yeah, you're right. It's very much centralized. If you don't already have it, it's going to only really reach those people, and it is then up to those people to then broadcast even further.
And aside from that, what I was going to say earlier, before we close out and get into the more, well, I mean, I guess there's not. We already mentioned the permabanning, but good on you, Twitch. You did something that Call of Duty had no fucking idea how to do. Good on you. Thank you for permabanning fucking assholes. But what we were speaking on my stream prior to the blackout was that it's such poor timing.
Yeah.
Like everything is such poor timing, because just hours before the news came out that Mixer, and that's Olive if you can hear her. The news came out that Facebook was basically buying out the core parts of Mixer, and all of Mixer's partners were just fucked unless they move over to Facebook Gaming.
And grandfathered into their partner program.
Pretty much. And people who obviously have problems with Facebook, because obviously Facebook is extremely problematic.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to go over to Facebook Gaming, but some of these people, they made the choice of making streaming their livelihood. And if they don't go over, they either had to compromise their values and go with Facebook Gaming, or go to another streaming service like Twitch or YouTube Gaming.
Yeah.
Right? Or YouTube Gaming. And that sucks, because that was hours before the Twitch blackout.
Yeah. And yeah.
And during that time when you need the signal boosting more than ever, when you need help acclimating to a new platform, or even an old platform that you left, much like Ninja, who knows if he'll come back. I'm still sitting on the idea, take that 30 mil, make your own streaming service, man.
I know, right?
That was really, I don't know, things just lined up very poorly.
Yeah.
Hopefully those people are doing well.
Yeah. Now. A lot of people I follow have been doing a lot of, helping out the Mixer community. And it's nice to see. Because going back to what you said, yeah, you have a lot of people that are like, well, my shit's dead, so let's go to Twitch. And you go to Twitch, and then everyone's like, all right, cool. Not doing anything today. And it's just like, why not? It's like, well, you have these issues. And I'm like, fair, valid. But like, what the fuck? Who do we tell? And he's like, save it till tomorrow. And it's like, tomorrow. And it's just like, well, I mean, given how everything is, like these past few months, it's just like, well, a day after tomorrow is gonna feel like 5 months. No one's gonna care. It's just like, hey, if no one does it that day, then everyone's gonna forget about it. Like right now, now people are saying like, oh, the whole Twitch or the Mixer thing. It's like, it's people feel like that shit happened like 2 months ago. It only happened like about a week and a half ago. It's insane. It feels like almost a month that happened, and
time doesn't exist.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah, it was unfortunate timing, I guess is a better way of saying, instead of poor timing.
Yeah.
It's all, yeah, it's just really unfortunate, because yeah, it's like you still want to stand by and address those issues, but at the same time, new events arise that make it so that way maybe it isn't the best time to do it now, but then one can argue that there's never a best time. And all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but there was a lot of shit with the whole mixer thing. I don't like some of Twitch community because of that.
Yeah.
Hey, if your company is not, if you're in a situation where your community is not in jeopardy because of a smaller community, be happy that that community dies. That's all I have to say. Like, unless you guys are competing head to head, don't be there is no winning. It's just like, yo, like, the best thing that could happen is the consumer wins, you know? So a lot of people were just like, ha, Mixer's dead. And I'm just like, dude, come on.
Dude, not now.
Like, thousands of people just lost their job and their livelihood. And
you don't kick someone while they're down like that.
Yeah. But
don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Be good to each other. That's the main message brought to you by the letter E.
Is that going to be the title, by the way?
What? Don't be stupid?
Seems like it.
Well, it might be don't be an asshole, but we'll see.
Seems fairly apt at this moment.
Anything else, John, before we close out?
Banalinity.
There
you go. No, I will say though, that's like the number one thing. Good on you, Twitch, for banning everyone you do. That's great. But there are definitely, it would mean more to a lot more people if you deal with those that are just blatantly disregarding the rules and that you seem to do nothing about. If you were to actually take action against those people, yes, it's one, and maybe you got rid of 10 horrible people. That's objectively better. But it's not as big of a statement. If you 10 people, but then don't ban one person who is considered maybe one of the biggest like egregious behaviors or like stains on the platform or whatever, you know, it's just like figure out your priorities and don't ban people that, you know, how to say, you know, just ban everyone that's bad. I don't want to say don't ban people, but, you know, but no. Ban everyone. Ban all the bad people. Just, you know, go in there with like, what is it? Like, what's that word?
Banhammer?
Well, no. When you go in and you don't have any ties, you're just there and just like axing everyone. I can't.
I don't even know.
I can't think of the word right now.
But Twitch, as much as we love you, you got some problems to figure out as well. But anyhow, this has been a very somber episode of the TopCup podcast. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and give us a like, share, subscribe, of course. Please be active in the comments, because I would love to hear anything you guys have to say, really, but of course anything in regards to the topics today, because it affects a lot of people. And honestly, to be straight with you, my DMs are open. All of our socials are in there. I can't speak for John, but my DMs are open. If you need to talk about something, especially if you know us, I'm open, man. Just send it over and we'll see what we can do. I'm very much willing to hear you out. Aside from that, you can find us individually on social media at me, your buddy Danny, on Twitter and Instagram, and John at Klingymite on Twitter. John Oyevita is on Instagram, where he is not very active on either, but he's still there. He has a presence and some pretty awesome pictures, honestly. There's this one of Aaron, our friend Aaron, that I really like,
Oh.
where he looks like he's in a game like The Last of Us. He just like looks dirty,
Oh, okay.
but like
I know
still
what you're
like
talking
he's I don't know. I don't know. It's like he's been trapped in the woods for a week or something.
I need to post more, or just I don't busy. I don't care.
If you want to follow the channel, you can find us at TopCup Vids, everywhere, and we also have the Facebook group as well. It gets about as much love as any Facebook group gets. But yeah, you can also find us on podcasting platforms, like I mentioned earlier, Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where just rate us. You don't even have to listen to us. Just give us a few stars.
Wait, that goes against everything you just said about Last of Us.
Exactly. Making sure you're paying attention. Fucking do your due diligence and listen to us at least for 30 minutes. Put us on in the background. Just give us the listens, please. I pay $24 a month for this. I need to show some profit.
Okay. And the amount I'm paying for all the editing.
Hey, I pay you for Adobe.
You pay
don't
me
give
with
me-
a shirt.
Don't give me that shit.
Where's my shirt?
I just still working.
Damn it.
Final notes. Just be good to each other, guys, because there are enough fires in the world. We can't just keep letting them go. Like, listen to people, take care of people, stay close to the ones you love. Respect people. Yes, thank you, Alma. The disembodied voice of my girlfriend in the other room. Respect people. Just don't be stupid. Be cool.
At this point, you're making it the title. I don't give a shit.
Until next time, unless John has something to say.
Nah, I'm good.
Until next time, John, more than ever, I love you, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Brianna, love you, buddy.
Ray. Daniel says he loves you. Brianna went like this.
You guys out there, love you guys. Stay safe. Cover your mouth, wash your hands. Be nice.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask, please. Fuck, I'm tired of this. I need my studio back. No, I'm just kidding. I have asthma. I can't get fucking COVID-19. I'm gonna die. Just wear a fucking mask for God's sake. And again, just be chill. See you guys next time.